Oil is back near triple digits, AI is losing some steam, and Wall Street suddenly looks a little more nervous again. Hey everyone, it's Thursday morning, June 4th, and welcome back to Capital Markets Quickie. I'm your host, Endrit Sella, here to break down yesterday's market action in just 2 minutes. Quick note before we dive in. Today's episode is brought to you by AMF Capital, Asset Management Frankfurt. Learn more about our funds and strategies at amf-capital.de. Alright, let's get started. So, yesterday was one of those sessions where investors had to balance two very different stories. On one side, the AI trade is still very much alive. After record highs on Tuesday, there is clearly still excitement around technology, chips, cloud spending, and everything connected to artificial intelligence. But on the other side, geopolitics came back into focus in a pretty serious way. U.S. stocks moved lower yesterday as Wall Street watched the still fragile talks between the United States and Iran. The Dow Jones Industrial Average fell 0.8%, while the Standard & Poor's 500 slipped by about 0.5%. The Nasdaq also moved lower after the strong AI-driven rally earlier in the week. Now, the big concern is that the U.S.-Iran negotiations still do not have a clear path forward. President Trump had said earlier this week that talks were continuing at a rapid pace, but now the situation in the Middle East looks more complicated again. Israel's military campaign against Hezbollah in Lebanon has created another obstacle to a broader deal, especially when it comes to ending the war and reopening the Strait of Hormuz. And that matters for markets because the Strait of Hormuz is one of the most important oil routes in the world. Oil prices moved higher yesterday after reports of Iranian strikes against Kuwait and Bahrain, as well as U.S. strikes on Iran's Qeshm Island. West Texas Intermediate crude traded above $95 a barrel, while Brent crude was hovering around $97. So yeah, energy is back on the radar. At the same time, earnings season is slowly wrapping up. Investors were watching Broadcom and CrowdStrike, two names that are important for the broader technology and cybersecurity story. And on the economic side, we got another labor market signal. ADP reported that the U.S. economy added 122,000 private sector jobs in May. That was another solid sign ahead of tomorrow's big nonfarm payrolls report. So the key takeaway is this. AI is still supporting market sentiment, but geopolitical risk and higher oil prices are making investors more cautious again. Alright, that's it for today's Capital Markets Quickie. If you found this helpful, hit subscribe and stay in the loop. See you tomorrow morning.